Hey, honey.
Hey, honey.
Salty Social. I'm Christy.
I'm Kristen.
And if you don't know, that was supposed to be like a little pun of where we're at today.
That's right. Blue-eyed girl, honey, here in Wewahitchka, Florida.
I'm so excited. We've been trying to look forward to this. I've been working with Pam Palmer, been on the phone with her, trying to schedule this properly to where when the bees come home and we get that to see that good Tupelo honey, that
I'm
golden.
so excited.
I don't know if they call it golden sunshine, but I'm going to call it the golden
I think
sunshine.
you can. I think that's acceptable.
I know. So this is yeah, this is neat. I know that we've got like a lot. I talked to Gary, her husband, one time, and he was just talking about how, there's just so many local ones, and then you have all these that come in from out of town. But I
Right.
love local,
Yes,
local. Support local all the time if we can.
every time.
Yeah, so okay, well let's go. I'm hoping that we get to taste a little bit of this honey
I do
today.
too.
And yeah, I'm excited. Okay, well then let's
All
just
right,
go
let's
check
go.
it out. Come on, y'all coming. Hey everybody, Salty Social. We're back and we are with the lovely Gary. Well, let me start that over with the lovely Pam Palmer and her other half, Gary. I started to call you lovely,
And
but I
he's
guess I should.
admirable.
I'm like, I don't think I should have
He is lovely.
has called you lovely, right? Sorry about that, Gary. I probably. All right, tell us. I mean, we know nothing, so we're not even don't even know what questions to ask. You just start on like when you all started thinking you needed to get into. I call it the golden sunshine of the area.
Well, it started 11 years ago, and it started with Gary, whose business and construction had completely dried up in '07, '08.
Oh,
And I was still in the school system at that time. And he was trying to figure out what he could do and stay in his hometown, because there was nothing, no construction, no anything. And so
hmm
he started talking to old beekeepers and looking around like, well, not enough people in Wewahitchka are going into Tupelo, staying in beekeeping. So he worked that for how many? A couple of years.
Couple of
okay.
years just investigating and learning about beekeeping. And what statistic really stood out to me the most was that 90 to 95% of the Tupelo, harvested in Gulf County is harvested by out of town or out of state beekeepers.
I didn't know
Mm,
that. I did not know that.
I
I
didn't either.
assumed, and we know what
We
that does.
Wewahitchka, Gulf County houses about 2,500 to 3,000 hives of bees year round.
Wow.
Come Tupelo season, there's roughly 25 to 30,000 in our county and approximately a
Wow.
quarter of a million hive of bees in our area between this side of the river, the other side of the river, Bluntstown,
Whoa.
Bristol. A
Okay.
quarter of a million hive of bees, and that resource, what would that do for Wewahitchka? What would
Right.
that do for Gulf County if
Right.
it stayed at home?
Right.
And
Yep.
so that was one of the things that kind of set me off was,
Yep.
hey, the
Yeah.
Agreed.
more, hey,
hmm
why can't locals be into it? The second thing was the fact that this honey was so overpriced
Mm.
by the bigger companies
hmm
coming in to get our honey that the people in Gulf County can't even afford to buy the product that
Ugh,
comes out of their backyard.
it's
It is.
terrible.
It is got a dollar on it, a
Mhm.
sticker on it. But you know what? Once you taste it, you don't
Well,
mind.
that's right.
You know.
We
Yeah.
feel that way, but
Yeah.
we
It's
we
hard.
we may raise the prices, may be forced to this year, but in 10
hmm
years we've stayed at the same price point
Okay.
because well, probably because we're not the best business people in the world. Because we want people, but really, truly, if we're going to build Blue Eyed Girl Honey and build a
hmm
brand name, if you price it to the point where they're dusting it on store shelves instead of it
Yeah.
moving off, then you're defeating the purpose. So
hmm
we would rather take a little less profit and grow a business and
Yep.
grow a company. That at
Mm.
least that's been the goal. And in the last year, we've really seen some. I mean, this is year 11 for us.
Wow.
So we've had an online store that's picking up the
Okay, that's good to know. We'll put that in the caption.
blueeyedgirlhoney.com.
We'll put that in the caption.
And then farmers markets when
Yes.
last year, construction really stalled in Gulf County. So
Mm-hmm.
we've done construction. After Gary and I met, I was a retired educator. So he said, well, I knew I had to work again. I retired at 21 years. So I was like, I don't know what's next.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought I'd like write a book or teach women's groups or do yoga, but turns out nobody, you're not going to make a living doing those things.
That was a smart thing for you to think of, but yeah.
So he said, I can help you with construction. And I resisted that at first. But then I was just looking for the
Did
path.
she really,
I
though?
did. I did. And I was like, I left the school system and that broke my heart, but I felt the call. I
Mm-hmm.
felt something out there, a door is closing. I'm going to
Yep.
open a door. So I was looking for the door. I was looking for the door. And I wasn't sure. I wasn't finding it. And then, y'all, seriously, I was doing everything during that 1 year sabbatical that I had money saved for my son and myself. It wasn't illegal, immoral, or unethical. If they asked me, do you want to go try this? Do you want to learn about it?
Yeah, right.
And so
You went
I
down the
was
list.
cleaning condos, and I was a barista for Barbara at the No Name, and I was answering Farnsley. What's his first name?
Aaron.
Aaron Farnsley.
Yep.
No, sweet
Yep.
man. Answering phones for him because I had gone from
Hey,
high
whatever
school to
works.
college
You got
to
to pay the
graduate
bills.
school to graduate school. Never done any of that. And I used to tell middle school girls when I was their principal, you will be just as tired at the end of 8 hours working $15
Yeah.
an hour as you will $50 an hour. Get your education. So I learned
Yep.
all
That's right.
that.
And then I love the fact, though, of course, the name of the construction company kind of
The bees are everything. Well,
hive and home.
his framing company after we got together was Busy Bee Builders.
I like that.
That
I
was
was
my
wondering when I saw that. I thought you thought he'd wear at least something to do with this thing, but I did not know that. Okay.
This was my
Turn
construction
around.
company.
Oh, I
Oh,
love it.
So that's before
And
I
then
had my
that
contractor's
was
license.
okay.
So he was framing. I was studying for tests.
Okay.
And so I passed all those tests. Then a year or so later, got my roofing license. And so Hive and Home Residential Construction started.
And
And
then,
so
and then
that
it's
has
all about the bees.
it is, and
All
that
about the
has
bees.
funded
All about
all of
the
this.
bees.
Oh, that's
That and
awesome.
some of Pam's savings and Gary's sweat equity,
Hey,
and so
that's
we
all right.
put
It
everything
takes
we've
a village.
made. This is our child.
I love this.
And our youngest child works with us now. So and we have adopted
I
many
love
more
this.
children.
Yeah, I love it. Up here in Wewah, everything's a family. Gary was telling us about before you got here. I was talking about this beautiful tree behind us here, and Gary's just talking about that. Like this was, I call it the compound with multiple families. Is what we called it in Tennessee. That all of your family lived here. So I mean, it's home. Everything's home here.
It
So
is.
now that you've brought everything back here home, so it's kind of cool. But so, are you gonna be able to show us a little bit of what we got going?
We got a lot to show, not a little bit. So we can go around from
We may have
from
like three
everywhere.
parts to this. I mean, they like to talk just as much as
Yeah, we
Kristen
do.
and I. So, okay, we'll be back in just a second with some more. Hang tight.
Because we access at construction all of our scrap material that we would normally throw into a dumpster and haul to the landfill.
Mhm.
I bring here and we cut it up into smaller pieces and reuse it for whatever we can.
Okay.
So this is just scrap plywood that I brought off the job and we've cut into pieces, and then we basically turn them into lids. Now, it is CDX plywood. It's not going to last that long forever, okay? But it's free, and
That's right.
I can use it for a couple years. But what is also good about it is Sherwin Williams. Sherwin Williams, whenever they have Oops paint, Oops paint covers all
covers
this.
it
I
all
don't
that.
care what color it is.
No, the bees
So
don't care. Do
so
they? The
we
bees
we
don't.
wind up with a bunch of boxes that may be tons of color, and we wind up with Sherwin Williams dump.
They are so good.
They literally bring it to us, say, "Hey, we got an inspection coming. We got all this paint, and here, take it."
Good.
That's
Good.
great.
And we use it. We
And we pay for it at a discount.
Sure.
Very, very discounted.
Oh, the seas, yeah.
what we're doing here is, like I say, where the concrete is, that was the original chicken pen, and the back half is Hurricane Michael addition. After Michael took out part of the building, we added part of it. So, but what we do, we do all of our artwork
I
starts
like
in
it.
here.
Okay, so we are
We're
going to talk
going to get
about
into
that. We're
that,
going to get
but
into that.
all these buckets have bits and pieces of, at the end of the year, we take all of our old bee boxes that are no longer good for service,
Right.
and they have a big bonfire.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, rather than having a bonfire as a carpenter, I'm burning my profit, because those boxes that
Yep.
we're throwing away, I've got to go buy and replace.
Right.
So I'm throwing away my profit, then I'm
Yep.
buying new boxes. How can I repurpose the old boxes?
And the art, I'll have to tell you, because maybe people that like, y'all know.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us,
Linda,
because I
do you
just.
know Linda Fitch?
Yes, I do.
So she does yoga with me,
Uh-huh.
and one day, this was when construction a couple years ago was slow. We were just doing every and anything, paint classes here, like B-box paint classes, and we were trying all kinds of things for revenue. That's when we started doing farmers markets, because we had not really tapped into that other than the Tupelo Festival. But Linda, after yoga one day, said, "What do y'all do with your old B-boxes? Have you ever thought about making art with them, making works of art?" And I said, "Well, no, tell me about that." And she pulled up these pictures. She used to live in, was it South Africa? Oh, Linda, I'm sorry. It was where she, but in that vicinity. And she had a gallery there. And she said there was a man who took old bee boxes, cut them all up, and made these beautiful works of art that she pulled up and showed me. And she said, and I could sell them for almost anything, thousands of dollars. As soon as I'd get one, it would sell. As soon as I get, so I called Gary and I sent him pictures. She gave me pictures. I sent him, and this, I will never forget this. He said, "I'm on it." And that's when it started, really. She said, then I called her back. I said, "I feel badly if we're stealing somebody's creative." She said,
Man.
"I've told every beekeeper I've met my whole life, why aren't you doing something beautiful with those old bee boxes?" And they were like, "Hey," but Gary's a carpenter and turns out quite an artist. That's
I love that. I love this. What pictures?
It's a cross between what would be like mosaic art and folk art.
I love that.
And so
Yeah.
it's using the bits and pieces of the bee box, whatever color it is.
Right.
We're not changing the color. We don't alter the box in any way. And literally at the end of the piece, it just comes to life and has a whole new description of its own.
Did you see those? Those are just full of different. He cuts. Those are big. He'll cut tiny.
What we do is a lot of these. It's just Luan.
Yeah.
This is the back of what we present, but a lot of times what I'll do is, like, I'll take a bee frame and put the Luan in it, and then we'll put the art on it, so that you're actually, the name of our art class is Outside the Box Hive Art.
Cute.
So that we're using literally bits and pieces of the boxes, the frames, and you've got to be creative. So that's what we do with here. And we're going to do different stuff. We're actually starting. Y'all are going to be the first ones to see this. Don't laugh.
We don't laugh. Is it a burning? Like you burn?
It's a start. I watched a guy do some wood burning art, and so I came home and practiced it. So I just ain't quite there yet, but we'll figure it out soon enough.
The Dharma, or the will of, there's many spokes.
Yes.
And if Gary and I, all of our future earnings are tied up here, and that was our choice. This is what we wanted to do. But I thought, beekeepers pollinate and they do honey. But there's so many things, and when the paint classes we do here, if he ever decides to let go of a piece, he gets of art. Because now that he's doing it, he puts all this time in and all this heart. He's like, I'm not really ready to sell these things.
I understand.
But that's another spoke, that we can make this where we won't have to have a daytime job and a nighttime job.
Ooh, smell that.
So that's our wax melter. When we extract honey, you have all the uncappings, the wax cappings that you have to cut off to release the honey out of the frame. And so this separates it, and that's kind of your more burn honey, because it gets really hot, and then somehow it separates the honey from the wax, and then the wax goes into the bucket.
I know.
Should I go ahead? So those are the wax cappings down there from the last extract. These boxes are waiting to be extracted.
What we have is this is an uncapping machine. And what we'll do is we'll wind up laying the frames on this conveyor belt, like so. And just run it through there. Once you run it through there, then it comes out, all the honey, the uncappings, the drippings. These are your extractors. They work just like a washing machine.
Hear the buzz?
I do. I just realized that. It's awesome. You guys are everywhere. Yeah, they are. I know.
Look at this art. Look.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Look at that one. That's all candles. We do. Yeah, she does candles. See, I said, we didn't do candles last year. So Jocelyn mastered our candle making.
That one piece there has 25 particular boxes, old bee boxes, and it has 10 frames. That there has an accumulation of approximately 600 years of beekeeping service. We go to the yard and get honey. Any bee that is clinging on to that honey for dear life, don't take my honey, makes the ride from the bee yard to here with the honey.
Right.
Well, once we get here with the honey and we start opening these boxes, well, the bees go to the light, they go to the door, they get trying to get out. So that's where they accumulate. And so they're just lost bees. Well, what we'll do, they're homeless, queenless bees. So what we'll do is whenever we get slinging, we'll round these lost bees up, put them in a box. And because their mindset is we are queenless, we need to raise a new queen, we'll introduce egg into those lost bees and they'll raise their own queen.
Oh, I'll just take some larvae out of another frame, put the box and put it. How do they choose a queen? They don't really choose a queen. They make a queen. They just decide this. We're gonna. Well, and the queen cell is a big thing. It hangs down like. Do you have any capped over brood, honey?
Yes, right here.
Okay. So those drums, right?
Those are drawn eggs.
So
Male bees. Those are male bee eggs.
They stick out. They're much bigger, fatter bee when they hatch out. The worker bees, the females, would be flush with that, but they have a thick wax cap coating. And so that's what he's taught. Well, you don't need a ton of drones. You need a lot of workers. Right. But that's what they'll do is they'll just choose one. Now we don't have a queen cell on anything, but when they did, you want some Tupelo honey? Oh, chew that wax, honey.
Chew that up.
And the wax actually doing.
Oh, I get some too. Oh, that's the good. Look at that.
I want some because
Oh
I'm
my
talking good for you, right out of the hive.
Oh my gosh. Cheers.
That's as fresh as you can get it.
So
They're coming in here in just a few hours with a lot more honey. And I want to get that done before they come in because y'all are not dressed appropriately for that.
Okay.
There will be millions of bees flying around the yard.
Really? Yeah, when they bring.
So you see the cappings.
Yes.
This one here is uncapped. That's capped. So what you got to do is you got to knock that off so that the honey can come out. If I try running it through there with those caps, the honey will stay in there because the bees have filled it up.
So all of that too has.
No, that's already
That's
open.
good.
If you can see honey in the cell, see how you can see in that cell? You can't see in those cells. They're closed up, capped over. Those they're ready to eat.
Oh, I see that now.
And the little honey lesson is once bees
look at the heart. Sorry.
Cap it, the moisture content is perfect. It won't sour. This probably has a little too much moisture, so then we have to dehumidify in here, and we test every drum before we close it up to make sure the moisture content is correct. the bees will do it, but sometimes you need to pull honey before they get it all capped because Tupelo's dropped. All the blooms are dropping, and you don't want to finish filling it up with another kind of wildflower. So we pull it, and then we have to do the job of instead of them fanning it and getting all that moisture out, we get it out with dehumidifiers in here.
Okay, and then it runs.
It runs through this funness machine, which has things that run. We were scratching them by hand with these.
Oh, no wonder Tupelo honey's so expensive. This work that goes into this.
What I don't know is how people that just do wildflower make the dough of it, because they have to do all this too. So they don't.
We learned the other day we went on a tramp tour and they said a lot in the buffer preserve is the wildflower.
Yes.
Honey.
Yeah,
that
there's no
comes.
Tupelo except only.
Yeah.
There
right.
is no Tupelo.
But I didn't realize that in the buffer preserve. I guess I was just.
So people that are extracting it, are they just getting on people's property or?
If here's what a lot of them do.
I guess you rent your land.
Commercial beekeepers go to the bigger companies, the buffer preserve that has lots of acreage. Or I'm just saying, for example, a Deseret.
Yeah.
Yes.
They go to Deseret, who has 600,000 acres, and they lease 100,000 acres in that area, or they lease $500 per location, or $750 per location.
Right.
And so locally, we don't have deep pockets, so I have to go to the private landowner that has 5 acres along the river or somewhere where I need to set my bees at. Instead of going to the bigger company and getting the chunk land, I go get the smaller plots here and there. Yeah, that's right. We're flowing it through here. We're running this here. Honey goes down and then goes down and then goes underneath you. You can look underneath you into the tank. And then what it does is the pipe, it flows, the honey flows out, drops into this tank. Well, the same thing with these extractors. See all the pipes dropping into the tank? This tank here has a hose underneath the bottom that goes from this room into that other room.
Okay.
All those drums are wildflower honey. It's already full, the ones with the bags. We got the big set of scales over there, the commercial set of scales that we'll put the drum on empty, weigh the drum, then we'll fill it up with honey, weigh it again so that we know how much honey is in each drum. This room right here, what we do with these 2 rooms here is we store all of our bee boxes in the off season so that the bugs don't get in them and stuff like that before we use them again for the next honey season. Season, whenever there's not much going on for beekeeping except for maintaining them, that's when we do all of our extra work. We do all of our extra work here in the off season rather than doing it while we're trying to take honey.
Kristen, there's some more lost bees. More lost bees.
You have a honey making season, and then you have an off season where there's nothing for them to do during the winter, so they just hunker down and eat their honey that they've stored for themselves. Well, we've stole their honey, so we have to supplement their food source during the winter.
Gotcha.
And so rather than keep them here during the winter, we send our bees, because they're spoiled, we send them south for the winter. They go down south and hang out down there where the environment is a lot different. The system is a lot different. You get 11 good months of forage time down there where you only get 5 here.
Gotcha.
So those other 6 months, they fend them for themselves, or they're dying off, or we're feeding them way too much. But down there, they can do it naturally, so we send them down south for the winter.
Cool.
It comes from underneath the building. Yeah. It's stuck, but once I pull it open, it's going to pour out.
Oh.
This tank here and this tank here together will hold 25 of these.
Wow.
25 drums. You can still see, if you'll step over here, you can still see honey pumping.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Wow.
If you're not scared of heights, step up that ladder. Look over into that tank. You can see how full it is. Me personally, every time I climb up there, I just want to jump in and swim.
Explain something to me, and don't laugh when I ask this question, but how do the bees know? I don't know how to even ask
How
it.
do they know to
That
go
the
just to Tupelo?
And then how do you know those bees have brought back Tupelo and not just because of where the hives are?
Well,
mean,
what
your
the
boxes
location, what you do, the most important part of that is to get my bees just as close to the Tupelo tree as I can get them. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I've got my bees over here, well, they've got to fly that far every trip.
Okay.
Every trip they're flying that far. But if I've got them over here, look how many trips I can make
Right.
with
sense.
Tupelo. Now,
Okay.
luckily, other things are blooming the same time that Tupelo blooms, but they don't produce nectar. Tupelo does. So the bees, knowing, well, hey, there is a buffet line of flowers between here and the dessert bar. We're going straight to the dessert bar.
Yeah.
And skipping all that salad and vegetables and protein. We'll skip the meat. We'll go straight to the dessert bar.
Okay.
And so that's what happens is because they're trying to store honey, pollen is the bread
And the butter.
and then honey is a carb, I guess,
Yeah.
at the end.
Right.
So what they do is pollen, all they do is make bee bread out of it. That's what they feed the bees. Honey is a future food source. So what they do is they bring in just enough pollen from the other stuff to feed the bees. But they go to get the honey for storage.
Oh, wow.
So the
Very
nectar,
smart.
luckily,
So
there's
smart.
not a lot producing nectar the same time Tupelo is producing nectar. So they don't get a lot of other honey. The bees know if you've got a favorite restaurant, you don't tell her about the other ones. You tell her about your favorite restaurant. Well, you go eat at your favorite restaurant and you come back to your group of girls and you tell your girls about your favorite restaurant. You don't tell them about all them other spots. Well, don't eat here, don't eat there, don't eat there. You say, eat here and avoid that conversation. Well, it's the same thing inside of the beehive. They go out and find that Tupelo and they come back and tell all their friends where the sweet spot is. They don't tell them about all the other stuff so that the bees go directly to the sweet spot instead of even trying the other stuff.
How long is that time frame? When I talk about she's like the bees are coming home. So what is this time frame? Because it's very short.
You've got 14 days to make Tupelo honey.
Whoa.
If you do not make it in them 14 days, next year.
Next year. So everything you extract has to last you a year, or it's a great year and you sell out, I guess. I mean, it just depends on how
We'll
you look
definitely
at it.
sell out this year because we didn't produce enough. This year was not a good year. What we hope for, the rule of thumb, is that you produce 10 hives to produce 1 drum of honey. So that's 65 pounds per hive. Now that's a good year. A bad year could be nothing per hive.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of gap there between nothing and 65 per hive. We've got 1,200 hives on the ground right now. So if each hive had done real good, we would have produced about 120 drums of honey.
Wow.
We've only got about 15. If all 5 of those great, you've got a great season. If any one of those 5 fails, it's not a good season. You can't have too much wind. You can't have too much rain. You can't have too much humidity or too low humidity. uh, cool nights. You don't want it too cold because the coolness closes that bloom up and it doesn't allow moisture to get on the bloom, so that the next morning when it opens up, it's a wet bloom versus a closed up dry bloom.
Right.
You don't want it to be too hot. If it's too hot, well, then the heat dries the bloom out. The moisture in the bloom is gone too quick. So any one of those 5 goes wrong and your season goes downhill.
So when is season?
Yeah.
14 days when you harvest. When does that happen?
The middle of June to the 1st of May.
Okay.
My bad. April.
April.
April. April to May. April to May.
So we're about to be out of
We
season?
are pulling honey now.
Okay.
So we are done with the Tupleo.
Okay.
We've got a little bit that they're pulling today. But then we go right straight into the wildflower season after that.
Okay.
So what they're doing is they'll pull a box off with honey and they'll put an empty box on so that we can target a specific flavor of honey and not to mix. You know, a lot of them you could just keep stacking them and then mix all your honey and have one blend. But what we do is we try to target specific flavors of honey, especially with the Tupelo.
Oh, yeah.
And so whenever I decided to do this art class, it's really about the education of the bees and the freedom of expression. So you get to paint your box, your freedom of expression. And with me, mine was it was football season. So I went ahead and painted my Wewahitchka football season on my box to kind of be the example to what everybody else can do.
How can someone come and paint?
Put a group together. Put a group of girls together. Put a group of kids together. Put a group together.
Couples with the swivel. Did you tell about the swivel sisters?
I told her about the swivel sisters.
So a group works best. Otherwise, we tend to get pieces and parts of groups, right?
Time-consuming. So get a group together. Then
get a group together. Call us and say, "Hey, we have a birthday party or a girls' night out party," and rather than drive to Tallahassee for sip and paint, we're going to drive to Wewah.
So do you keep the bee boxes once they're painted and then put them
You
out?
can keep them if you want it, but how many bee boxes do you need stacked up in your house painted?
Well, I made my daddy. I told you about probably sometime. But guess what?
Yes, I thought they
were gone too. But I would want to.
I would want mine
out there
to put a planter. They're beautiful planters.
I would want to send mine back out to know that the bees were making.
That's what we do. That's
what
we do. That's what I prefer. I prefer to know that you have contributed to my.
Where is the bee yard that has all of our ones that swivel?
They're down that way in the woods.
Oh, because we should put that one where it's easier for people.
Well,
to
I wanted to do that here, but these are all beginner hives, and I need them to paint the nook boxes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
In order to do that.
Tell me what you mean by a beginner hive.
The box that's only half size. There's only 5 frames in that. Where this box here, the deep box over there has 10 frames in each box. So there's 30 frames in that hive over there with the jar. There's only 5 frames in these little small.
What's that matter? Like, is it just
the size of the hive? It's like you having a 7-bedroom house just for you and your husband, or you having a 1-bedroom house for you, your husband, and 5 kids.
Does it produce anything different?
No, what it does is it creates hive management. Now we got to go in and manage. If that there gets too big, it's going to swarm on me. She's going to leave. So I go in and manage it, and I knock her down and separate her, boom, 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 and then I put a new queen in each one of them. Well, now I went from 1 hive to 4 hives.
Oh, it's like breaking up. It's like propagating.
Hive management.
It is like propagating plants.
Either deer management, you know how they manage their herd. It's me managing my herd.
I'm seeing a relation with a lot of things.
Nature is the same, all nature. But I do notice, and then in the fall, I've seen my son take big full boxes down to nook boxes, so the bees don't have so much work to do. So the opposite happens when it starts to cool off. If that's a weaker hive, fewer bees, maybe the queen's older, or
What happens is her laying production is dictated by how much resources come in.
Gotcha.
So if the bees are bringing in a lot of resources, hey, I better start upping my production. So she'll go from laying 35 eggs a day in the winter to 2,500 eggs a day in the summer.
Oh, wow, word. So it behooves us to keep the size of the hive matching how big that hive is. If it's busting out a 5, then they're going to put that into a bigger one to put more empty frames. But if we're shrinking down because it's getting cool, and I didn't understand that, but you might lose a hive because you've got too many frames, too much work for those few bees to
Too
do.
much stuff to protect.
Right.
Too many other frames to have to guard.
Clean or
Clean, guard, keep the bugs out of, protect. So if you'll kind of narrow that down appropriately for the bees, the size of the bees, well, then they can maintain their hive.
What'd you learn?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Where do you even start? What a great education today on Tupelo honey, and what a short season it is to harvest. Excuse me, but I tasted the Tupelo honey straight off the comb, and I don't know if I've ever had anything better.
I know. I loved it. It was like this big. I was like, this is like $40 worth of honey straight off the comb.
It was this light gold color and just wonderful.
And I mean, y'all hear Gary's story. He's such a great storyteller.
He's a great storyteller and a great artist.
Yes. So, okay, let's go into that. So next weekend is the 16th, I think it is the Tupelo Honey Festival.
Yes. We're going to be there bright and early.
Yes, you better get there early because people do stand in line because, like Gary said in this episode, it's just a small window and they may run out this year.
Yes, and I'm not missing out on that. Yeah. And another opportunity to get a handmade beeswax candle.
And you don't get to, they don't have these everywhere. We were just gifted these.
We were made with 100% beeswax from the Tupelo honey.
Look at the bee. Did you see the bee on here?
Yep, I sure did. And the lovely lemon and lavender scent is
So
fantastic.
these will be at the Tupelo Honey Festival.
They will.
And then some of the things you are seeing right now, the artwork, and then the what did they call the
apiary therapy house?
So, yeah, they're introducing those. You're still not going to get Gary out of that artwork yet, but he's going to introduce them. He said. So
he's very talented.
He is. He is. I mean, just everything down from using the scraps to make the bee boxes, from the oopsie paints from Sherwin-Williams.
And I'd also like to come out here and you can paint a bee box that they use.
Yes.
So you can kind of custom create, put your own spin on a bee box that they use and know that you've kind of given back, and bees are making honey in your box.
In your box. I know they're like, when I asked them, off camera, I was like, do you get to keep those? And I was like, I would want to know that mine are out there.
Absolutely.
Like helping.
Exactly.
I love this. It was just so much. And so next time we get to go, hopefully we're going to dress the part and we're going to go actually out to some of the boxes, I guess, and extract some of those. They've got a lot. They said they have some more coming in today.
Yep.
I mean, gosh, I love that we live here.
I do too. Thank you, Pam and Gary, for being such gracious hosts and showing us your amazing and incredible business. Mind blown. Can't wait for you guys to see what we got to see.
Y'all are great. Have a great day.
Cheers.